Okay, so let's get started. Chris, do you want to draw attention to maybe one or two things that they have included on slide number 2?
Sure.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to jump into the interactive part as quickly as possible. Barry, if you can go to slide 4, then we can see that.
Yep.
Like I said, and also what the question already suggested on slide 2, the product goal that we're currently working on is to help organizations that have multiple Scrum teams and make it easier for them to identify patterns across Scrum teams and to make sure that the support goes to the teams that need it. And we've been working on this for a couple of sprints now. And just to give you a sense of the things that we've added, for example, we've made it possible to, in the team dashboard, to actually group teams into business units, value streams, whatever makes sense to you, and see the results for those teams together, which makes it easier to see patterns in similar teams or teams that work on similar things, which was a very common request, also from some of the people that are with us here today. We also made it possible to see improvement actions across multiple Scrum teams in the team dashboard. If you've tried the team dashboard before, you know what it looks like. We're going to dive into that in more detail in a minute anyways. But right now, you up till a few sprints ago, you could only see the improvement actions per team in the team report that you get when you complete the questionnaire. But this is now also available in the team dashboard for all teams under your subscription. Now, we also added feedback, evidence-based feedback, just like in the team reports that you get for individual teams. We now also give feedback based on the results from many teams together, or teams for a particular business unit or value stream or whatever makes sense. And finally, we've also added visualizations to see patterns of the results across multiple teams. And we'll see those in a moment in how they work, as one of the people will one of the participants will volunteer to click through it for us. That's roughly the things that we've implemented in previous 4 sprints, all working towards the product goal. And that's what we would like to review here today with you and get your ideas on it, your feedback on it. It's all in production. So if you like what you see, you can actually try it in production with your teams, with your organization. And we'll use your feedback to make it even better.
Ooh. And this is the moment where I'll also stop sharing, because we've got someone else that is going to share his screen. And before doing that, I'm going to share the link to the Google presentation once more, because some other people joined as well. And I'm going to lock this meeting locked, because everyone had enough time to join the session. So it's not distracting anymore. Because we've got Michael in this call. Hey, Michael. This is also a moment where you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sorry. Hi.
No worries, no problem. Because Michael is a real user of the survey. They exist. It's spectacular. and Michael is gonna use some of the new features that we've developed. And Chris, I think it's the easiest if you explain to Michael what he can do. Is this also the moment where Michael should share his screen already?
Yeah, if you're okay with that, Michael, you can share your screen. Maybe you're already on the team dashboard. I think you're already logged in before. Yes. That's okay. So you can just share your screen. I'll give you some basic instructions on things to try or things to look for. And my only question to you would be, try to verbalize what you're seeing, what you're thinking while you're exploring the new features in the dashboard. You can make no mistakes. Everything that goes wrong is my mistake as a developer. So if you can't find something, I have to improve it, right? So don't worry about whatever happens. We'll just look along with you and see how that goes. And for everyone else, we're going to probably spend 15 to 20 minutes on this, or I think 15 minutes. Just observe and go along with what Michael clicks through. After these 15 minutes, there is an interactive part where you will join in small groups to sort of digest the things that you observed, the things that you thought were useful, or maybe tips that you have for us. Now, in the screen, we see the dashboard from Michael's computer. This is the dashboard that we've been talking about for now. And Michael, you are one of our users and customers, so you've already seen the dashboard before, of course. Yes. But maybe as a first step, can you sort of explain what you're seeing right now, or what you think you are seeing right now?
Okay, so for me, the Scrum team dashboard regroup all the teams that have subscribed to the survey. So if I scroll the screen, I see a Liberator demo team, Liberator's first team, and so on. For each team, I can see the badges corresponding to the answers they propose in the survey, and if they match a certain score, you can win badges. So you see the badges at this point, and if you click on and if you pass the mouse on the badges, you can see what badges it looked like.
Right.
You have for this team, you have 3 surveys, and you have the date of the 3 surveys. The first one was in July, and so it's a baseline, the first survey, and you see that 8 people have taken the survey and 12 were supposed to do it. So 8 on 12. You can see the result of the survey if you click on this button, and you can, I think, delete or modify if I click. So I go on the detail of the survey if I click on it.
That's perfect.
Okay.
You're doing really well, by the way. That's great.
Thank you. That's it's new for me. My understanding is there you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories of the survey and the progress the team have made after each survey. So for instance, in November, they score 5 points above the July survey on the category that is responsiveness. On this survey, the 12 team members have taken the survey, and on the next, only 8 have taken the survey.
Yeah.
That is new for me too. I knew that you can enter and modify the name of the team, but research and development and infrastructure, I think it categorizes the team, so it's new. I think you can edit it here.
Right. Yeah. And if you look at the top of the screen, like the numbers that you see there, what do you think it means? What is this telling you about these teams?
What I understand is there is 101 team that have subscribed to the survey, and only 4 have taken it. There is 4 recent snapshots, but I don't know what recent means. Also, maybe it's between November and February.
That's what it means, but it wasn't immediately obvious to you, right? The moment you saw it. Yeah. That's good feedback.
8 open action. I know that every time you pass a survey, you can create action here on what your continuous improvement action are. So I guess that among the 4 teams, 8 action have been taken or described in the tool. You can have team requests for help. So there is 6 team requests in here. And there you see the progress of, I think, all teams. So for example, on responsiveness, there is 1 team that score here, one that, so you have the name of the team. So another Liberator team has scored 49. You see the score of all teams, and I think in yellow it's the means of the team. Here's the benchmark of the team. You see the average score, and you see that overall the 4 teams have a regression of 2 points on this topic.
You know, you are doing this so much better than I. you should explain our dashboard the next time we do it. This is great.
Okay, we can do that.
Well, thank you so much. But this is perfect. Like the way you described this, this is the sort of the main overview of the team dashboard. Now, can you click on some of the items in the menu on the left? You already mentioned the actions, but there are also some other areas. Can you explore those a little bit and verbalize what you're thinking while you're seeing it?
Okay. So I click on the Insights tab. There you see the organization insight. So I guess it is the score of all team cumulated. It's the result between November and February for 4 teams and August and November for 2 teams. What I do not see is how I see maybe I can filter on the period. Open action, open and complete, hide action. So for the action, maybe it's on the settings. All teams, compare recent 3 more teams, previous teams. Okay, I think I can filter, but what I'm not sure of is there are some teams that I taken the survey, I think in August and in November, 2 teams, and 4 teams in November and February. Yeah. So I think that the graphic accumulate all of this, but I don't know if I can see the 4 teams in a way and in a part and the 2 teams in other parts, maybe with filtering on the period.
And what would you expect to see in this case, like the results for the individual teams, or which teams they are? Like which 4 teams are those, or which 2 teams?
Yes, maybe, or maybe in this field I can click on November, February teams and August, November teams. I don't know if it's relevant in terms of results, but I guess that those one maybe 2 teams. Yeah, but for example, I don't know if there is one team that have played the 2. So we have results from August to February. So a very large scale or not.
That's really good feedback. We need to improve that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, on the graph, so maybe I need to zoom out a bit to have all the graphic.
It's very large.
Yes, that's my screen, I think.
No, it's also on my screen. It doesn't fit. It's very large.
Okay. So what I see is the component of the survey, the 6 categories, and every time how so the different subparts of the categories. So for example, on continuous improvement, I see that the average score of the team is around most team in your organization fall in this range 24 to 75 percentile, and the score of my organization so far is 57. It's improving for 4 points between August and November.
Right.
There is 2 ask for help action requests, and there are 4 open improvement action on this topic.
Right.
And I can see the detail of the topic on the left, and I see that one of the requests is on learning and a learning environment, but I don't see the second one. So
all right. Oh, I never thought about it this way, but actually you could have actions both for continuous improvement on that level, but you can also have actions for the subfactors. So in this case, the 2 does not include the 1, the 1 for learning environment. It's okay. But that's very obvious that you think this, so I have to change that.
So it means that there are questions that are focused on continuous improvement only, and questions that are in the subparts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it's the same thing for the action. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so there is 4 action on the continuous improvement global thematic.
For this one, it's 5 actually. So it's the 4 plus
4
the 1.
plus 1. Okay.
Yeah, so it's 5. Yeah, but I should clear this up because this is very obvious. I totally understand that you interpret it this way.
Okay. Okay, I think it's quite the same for the rest of the tab. So maybe you want me to switch.
Well, feel free to maybe go just briefly to the tips and the actions, because I don't know if you've seen those since in the releases that we've done in the previous sprints.
Okay, focus area tips. I know that when you pass the survey, at the end, you have some tips regarding your results. So investing in psychological safety to improve continuous improvement. What I think is that what the survey recommends is 3 actions, and they are the main important action that the team should improve. For example, if I take the first one, I think we are 13 points above the benchmark. We have increased our score with 1 point, and you think that the impact on the team improvement would be very, very strong. Sorry for my...
exactly. Yeah, if this team invests in psychological safety, we expect the biggest improvements in their effectiveness of all the things that we suggest on this page.
Okay, and you can see the way to improve above with 4 download workshops. 4 workshops you can download, and you can add action on this topic right here or right here, I think.
Yeah. Perfect. And maybe finally the actions, because I think the other tabs are quite, they're not really things we changed in recent sprints, but I think you've seen this one probably for the teams already. Have you also seen it before for the team dashboard, or is this the first time you're seeing this?
No, we haven't used this tab yet. So I have seen this tab on the demo, not on our board. So yes, you use a different team. So from Liberator Force team, I created this action. They are requiring some help. They created the action in April. The entire team. So maybe that's something new. Maybe I can see it in action if I create one. How I can choose entire team or team member, I don't know.
So maybe it's responsible basically for the execution of the action. So it's either the product owner, the Scrum Master, or the entire team.
Okay, fine.
Perfect.
Okay, and I can filter here for all teams or particular teams.
Exactly, yeah. And I think you also, because one of the requests that you had for us was that you work in an organization with many teams and you want all those teams to use the Scrum team dashboard, but the tricky thing is that not all those teams do the same things, right? So you sort of would like to be able to group teams into groups and then see the results only for that group of teams.
Yes, we have some kind of tribe like in Spotify. So it could be interesting to have this result for the tribe and for the different tribe.
Right. Now we did implement this. Where would you click to see the results for a group of teams or a tribe, to use your language here?
Maybe in Teams. Trends. I don't think it is in Teams. So maybe it's in users. No.
Well, this is always one of those nice discoveries when you're developing a product and you let other people use it. It's like, okay, I put the button in completely the wrong place. It's at the top right. I'll help you a little bit, Michael. It's the no filter button. That's basically the filter button. But that was not the place you were looking. So you were looking more on the left. So I have to put it there, obviously. Feel free to click one of the groups.
And just a question, if I click on, no, okay. Maybe I can click there and see. So research and development, it's a tribe or it's a characteristic of the team? Because if I understand it right, Liberator's demo team in its two tribe or two department.
Yeah, let's call it tribes for the purpose of the review. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's select this one.
We'll recalculate things now.
Okay, so now I am in the research and development team. So maybe it would be great to have the name of the tribe somewhere so I can see that I'm on the. So I know the filter is active, but yes, okay.
And I saw you move the cursor somewhere to the top so that you see the name of the tribe somewhere in the top.
Yes, maybe there. Yeah.
Very good.
Or maybe in the filter name.
Right. I'm writing it down right away.
Just a heads up, Chris. Time-wise, we're spending 15 minutes right now.
Okay. So we'll wrap this up, Michael, for now. Obviously, you can continue playing around with it because it's on production and you use the team dashboard. Just for everyone else, when Michael selected team filter, basically all the results in the dashboard then only show results for teams in that group. So in this case, research and development, we only show results for teams in that group. If you go to tips, if you go to actions, if you go to insights, you only see the results for that particular group. So it really filters everything, which makes it easier to focus on the teams that are important for you. What do you think about
one thing, Michael? If you can go to insights and, for example, click on continuous improvement. The filter is active, of course, but this also already makes sense. If you click it, then you from now on you also see all the teams that use the survey. So in this case, I think you see, if you would remove that one, yep.
Oh, It's the
That's
same
perfect.
that if
Yeah,
I click on
takes
both.
a few seconds. It takes a few seconds to load. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you would click continuous improvement.
Yes. So it would be great to have the name. Yeah,
I
so
agree. Yeah,
you can see on different tabs that you are on the filter.
And then you can click on the different factors and then also see the results of all the teams together.
Which is something that I would really like your feedback on from everyone, by the way, in a moment, is right now we're showing the results for the teams, but I have some doubts about whether or not I want that, because I'm very afraid that people will use that as a way to compare teams. And I don't think that that's something you should do, even though it can be helpful to see patterns across teams sometimes, because it can also make different decisions about where to invest in. But in your breakouts in a few minutes, maybe also think about, what do you think about this? Is this a risk or is this fine? Is this not an issue at all? But thank you so much, Michael. This was great. I've written down a lot of feedback and I'm sure we'll get a lot more. What is your impression so far of this particular set of features? Because you're using it. So what do you think? Is it useful for you?
And if you like, Michael, you can stop sharing. Then I can already set up the breakout rooms. So. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's great and it's very visual, so it's easy to understand, and we haven't yet figured out how to use it perfectly because we are experimenting and mainly trying to convince our manager to go further with the tool. But I think a lot of possibility, and I think it's very great.
That's cool. If you continue using it and you have more ideas, please let us know. Goes for everyone else in the review as well. We're happy to implement extra features that you think are helpful.
Thank you.
Oh,
I've set up the breakout rooms. I've done quite small groups, 2 or 3 people. Shall I do 8 minutes, Chris, or 10?
Yeah, just 7 or 8 minutes is fine.
I'm going to do 8 minutes. And what are they going to discuss, Chris, in the breakout rooms?
I think you're also going to show the questions, right? Well, they're also in the sheets. If you go to slide 6, you can see them for yourself as well. But in your small breakout rooms, maybe share some of the observations that you made. What are things that you liked? What are things that you think could be done better? What do you think was powerful about the features that we added? And is there something that if we would add that feature, that would convince your organization to jump on board right away? You can think about questions like that and together write down some of your thoughts on slide number 7 in one of the empty cells. And just feel free to write whatever comes to mind. We may not be able to talk about everything afterwards, but it's always good for us to know. That's it. And it's 8 minutes, right?
8 minutes. And probably I'm going to copy paste slide number 7 so you have some extra space if that's necessary. I'm going to open the breakout rooms right now. So see you back in 8 minutes.
See you back in 8. Now the question is, am I going to join? Did you assign me, Barry?
I don't know. No.
No, but that's okay because I don't want to influence people too much.
Yeah, yes.
Wat deed je leuk, man?
I'm going to pause the recording with you.
So everyone will slowly be popping back. In 14 seconds, they will be ejected from the meetup breakouts. No one's left early. That's nice. No one's left the breakouts early. Like, welcome back, everyone. If you haven't already done so, maybe capture 1 or 2 insights that you discussed in slide number 7, and one of the people in your group can do it, or all 3 together, because it's Google Slides, so you can work together.
Yeah, Christian, I'm sorry, I don't know the room that we were into.
That's fine.
Sorry.
You can also maybe just write down the names.
One.
And let's already get started with maybe just room by room, that each room takes 1 or 2 minutes to just share their key takeaways, their key ideas, suggestions, or things that they've noticed. We've got about 20 minutes left for the entire review, so let's try to take max 1 or 2 minutes per room. It doesn't have to be room 1 that's going to start. So just if you would like to start, just get started, give it a try. So which room would like to start explaining their feedback, sharing their feedback?
Yeah. Why not on room 5?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, the insight, the first insight was the main insight was about transparency of what are doing all the teams and where we are on the objectives. What we said also, it's maybe we can have tips, a purpose on maybe the tools can purpose some common workshop for similar problems for several teams. Maybe we can say if you have several teams that have the same problem, we can suggest the same workshop, a workshop that can be done with 2 or 3 teams. I don't know. I think it's maybe already the case, but it could be nice. And also, as it's nice to sharing knowledge and the way how one achieves its improvement goals. So we have a good picture of it. And I was thinking also that maybe we can link the action boards to a ticketing product, just to follow the actions on maybe on Jira or something like that. It can exist on some retrospective tools like
right.
The tools. Maybe it can be interesting. I don't know, but it was
yeah, those are good ideas.
Really good ideas.
Yeah,
great.
So who's next?
Yeah, we could go room 1.
Yep,
but just before I proceed, I see on the slide 7, someone is writing in room 1 that wasn't part of our team, so I guess it's a mistake. Thank you.
Someone got the wrong one.
Yeah.
My
right.
mistake. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Thanks. So mine was fun. Similar ideas. From the get-go, we looked at the strengths, and the strength was like it was highly beneficial in terms of tracking the team evolution. So that based off that, we could see look out for any dips and account for any dips. So, for example, if there's any new team members in the team, that might account for a temporary dip in productivity or holidays or any things like that. Then the second thing we looked at was that it could also help when you're like during Scrum of Scrums, for example. It might help in terms of spotting some dependencies or integration issues. So I think those insights were really, really helpful with that. Yes, and also we went on to what our thoughts on what it might cause consciously or subconsciously in terms of kind of subconscious bias for one team against another, based on because we could assess all of the different teams' performance in real time. But the thought was that we should be careful in doing that, and instead thinking how we improve the teams like ourselves, as no teams are inherently the same. Like we use the example of apples and oranges. So we should think from ourselves in terms of applying coaching and informing the purpose of what it represents to facilitate each of the teams' effectiveness. Then also, I think there was a suggestion of making locating or identifying the teams of interest. If we could make the workflow more obvious, I think that was the context. And lastly, I think it was already touched on, when we go into the room of, for lack of the better word, the tribe. It hopefully it's written on the screen so we don't get lost in the weeds.
Right. Yeah.
So thanks. That was the update from room 1. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much for summarizing.
Thank you.
Good feedback.
Thank you.
I stopped sharing my screen, by the way, but you can just open the Google presentation. I think it's also nice that we actually can see each other a bit better. So I think we've got three more rooms left. So who's next? And if your feedback was already mentioned, then just say +1 and then just share the new things that we haven't heard yet.
Can go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't remember which room we were, but it was me and Marius. I hope I pronounce your name.
Yeah,
right.
That's perfect. Yeah. I started writing something down on room 2, and I said I wrote Nutsa and Marius.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So yeah, for myself, I have not used the survey yet, so that's why I'm here to get some ideas and so on. Sorry for my lack of knowledge. I don't have much input to give there, but as we discussed with Marius, we were talking that, the courage is something very important to encourage Scrum Masters to bring this tool as an inspection tool to and to encourage organizations and to have this courage to bring this inspection tool and work with this and identify some rooms for improvement, get some insights on how to work. So this is what we talked about. And Marius, if I miss anything, feel free to jump in.
No, I guess you had also an idea about a way to encourage.
The idea from my side was that lately I've been thinking about just simply asking my team members, for example, why they find what they find difficult to adopt from Scrum and what are their challenges. And maybe something like this as an, I don't know, feature or whatever could be helpful to not only identify what are, let's say, weak points of the team, but why and what they find challenging and how they find challenging it.
That's a good idea. Is there anything that comes to mind for you as an example of something that your current team would say, for example?
I can give you an example. For next week I have planned a workshop with my team on definition of done. And usually I hear some not complaints, but complaints. Let's say that this is difficult. We cannot apply this to every PBI and this and that. And I wanted to conduct this workshop in a way to just discuss with them, okay, what are the difficult aspects and why do you find them difficult from the DoD? Maybe the DoD itself is not properly written and we have to change. So this is how this question came to my mind.
It's a really good idea. I never considered that, but it could be something that we could even add in the questionnaire somehow. That's something to think about. Thanks.
Nice.
Cool. Thanks, Nutsa.
Thank you.
So 2 more rooms left. So
no, 1 more, I think.
1 more?
1 more or 2 more? I don't know.
We'll see what happens. So who's next?
May I suggest maybe room 4, because what room 4 mentions, it's a little bit totally the other 180 degrees with what Nutsa and Marius written.
Yeah, so if Bernard, I think
they are like...
So the transparency is not possible in all organizations, and sharing the Scrum team survey could lead to bad experience and loss of trust. I think Michael left already because he had to leave early. So Bernard, do you have?
I feel I have to talk about this. So I was even thinking a little bit further from the discussion we had. It could be that the environment does not allow for transparency, and it could be that also teams will just game the system as soon as there's transparency. So they will understand how to fill the survey in a way that they will constantly improving until every team is at 1,000,000% being perfect. But it could be very helpful to have a dashboard that actually shows the improvement process metrics and not the absolute metrics. So is the team actually doing something on the way? And then the actual metrics will be protected from a dashboard, but can be accessed by the team members, the Scrum Master, but not maybe by management. It would go in a direction that you are avoiding competition between teams and you avoid abuse. I'm also thinking about some organizations have a very strong labor union, and they could dislike the idea of pitching teams against each other on this kind of performance level. And I don't think that every organization is ready for transparency. But the teams can greatly benefit from using the tool. I mean, that's a tremendous value that might be blocked if it becomes transparent.
And what is an example of one of those improvement metrics that you mean? What do you have in mind?
I was thinking about this for 7 minutes and also listening, so don't expect anything awesome.
No, that's okay. But I thought maybe you already have something like that you're using now or something. But no, but I agree.
I can also imagine that maybe it should be optional. That and I don't know the technical consequences. That's up to Chris. But maybe that somehow an organization can choose. Like if we are going to use a survey, then we can see all the teams, or we cannot, because it is feedback that I've received more often. That I've talked to a company last week, and they said, well, the tool was awesome, but this is going to be way too painful for our company, so we might use it 1 year from now when things are better. Because so yeah, that's interesting feedback. Like actually they should use the survey, but of course, if everyone is going to damage, if it's going to damage trust, and everyone is going to pretend that things are going well, then it's not useful either.
Yeah, I mean, as a external Scrum Master or Agile coach, there's this joke: when you want to quit your contract, just make a PowerPoint presentation with the 7 biggest issues of the company and hold it to senior management. Yeah. I mean, your contract will be void before you even end the call. So
that's a nice one. And that's what we're basically doing with the Scrum Team survey, like an ordered list. Yeah, I like that.
So a metric, one idea for the metric could be that there is actually a survey taken. So the interesting part could not be the outcome of the survey, that's for the team, but that the team is taking the survey.
I like it,
yeah. So, and if you roll this out to, I don't know, 35 different teams in an organization, you can see as senior management where to put attention to, because some team might not even take the survey.
Or maybe you could also show the number of improvement actions that they're actually opening and closing, although that can be gamed also, but you can game everything, right? That's the truth.
Exactly. And I don't think that if this is being used, then every team will of course make one more improvement action.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and it will be something very nice that is not scary. That all, I mean.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So is there one more team or group left?
Yeah, probably Barry. That's Enrique, Ram, Kubra, I think. Yeah. So I didn't have. My apologies. I didn't play with the survey, but my initial feedback is I typically work for very large companies. It is not a joke to introduce a new product from a new company that is collecting data. I can say it right off the bat that it is impossible to get through the security. It's not about trust at my personal level, it's a trust at a company level. And so that won't be easy. They trust Microsoft, but
sure, yeah. And we're not that.
well, thankfully you're not that. That's why you're more competent and efficient. So that is my first reaction. So I was wondering if there is any possibility for a white label thing. For example, one can introduce a spreadsheet type of thing, which is totally their own property. There is no link to an external company that needs to be approved, etc. Now, granted, all the graphics and all will be a challenge. You need an executable, blah blah blah. So just a food for thought. The thing that comes to mind without going through, which kind of Bernard probably hinted their team, is psychological safety. If the teams are, which is why I never publish my retros. Differ from other Scrum Masters. I don't publish them in the company. But then you are kind of taking away 50% of their psychological safety. You can't say anything against the management. Not every manager in the hierarchy is agile educated. They go into command and control mode. That's why they got there. That's right. So people will not be free at liberty to say, you know what, my manager insists on XYZ, and therefore that is my major obstacle. Then he'll be fired, as Bernard's PowerPoint example. So that is my resistance towards stating stuff that are true organizational or interhuman issues. That's why I like to keep my retros confined to the space. Sometimes I won't even hesitate to ask the HR managers to leave their retros. I've done that in the past, so that they feel free and they should be able to say what their problems are. So that is my thing. Otherwise, I will go through it and give you more constructive feedback. Now,
sure.
Enrique Salaveria has already started using, and I'm sure he has more constructive feedback than me.
Well, this was already super constructive, Ram, so thank you so much. And I think it only confirms what we already talked about, that it might be nice to add an option where teams don't share their results with other teams. You can sort of turn that off. So it's just for the teams themselves and no one outside the team. But we have to think about how to do that.
Well, actually, I was thinking about that. You should, I can see the scope for a security layer. Okay, wherein you can control layers and layers of security, and who has access to actions, even observations and all that. So the team chooses if they want to lock it. If the team chooses not to lock it, one retro may be locked, one retro may not be locked. So those are all possibilities.
Definitely.
And then we include a manager button, and then the manager can unlock everything. Right?
There you go.
Well, they have to pay a lot of money to unlock everything, should they? No,
we're just making a very expensive button. It's like...
Well, and the manager will get suspicious if one retro or one survey is locked, not the rest. So
yeah, just know that we're constantly trying to balance the desire to create transparency on multiple teams and also for individual teams, and protecting against abuse. It's very hard, but we're trying to make it better and better. And this feedback is super useful there. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left. I also want to respect the time box, especially if it's like afternoon Friday for you. So I think we've got 2 more slides left, Chris.
Yeah, just very briefly, because we always like to share sort of a couple of business metrics, because that should be a part of a sprint review. So we should do that too. And we mix and match which ones we show. But in this case, the one that's very nice for Barry and me is that we're actually seeing that the number of the revenue we're generating per customer is going up. So we got more large customers joining, which is great, because that's why we're building this team dashboard in the first place. And we're working very closely with all those customers to get feedback. We have a couple of them in this sprint review. And that's really useful for us. We're learning a lot, and we're using their feedback to make the product even better. We can also see that almost all customers stick around for a long time. My initial worry was that people would sign up for a month and then leave. But so far, most people are staying. The only exception is the end of the year. That's when a lot of people stop their subscriptions, because apparently that's the end of the year, end of the budget cycle, and people have to start over again at the new year. It's good for us to learn about. And in general, I think our support is increasing. The amount of time we spend on customers is increasing, which is fine, especially with the larger customers. But we have to think a little bit about how to make that a bit more effective for Barry and me. But that's a challenge that we have to solve in upcoming sprints. Things are going well. There are upwards lines everywhere. We're still not to a point where the development work is covered by the revenue, but at least our operating costs, the hosting and the accountant and all that stuff is covered by the revenue, which is great. This is already better than we expected. I'm going to do this one very quickly, Barry, just to give you a sense of the things that we're thinking about doing in the upcoming period. And these are product goals. So these will be many sprints or a couple of sprints to achieve that goal. One thing we really want to do is make a shorter version of the questionnaire, which is, if not the most common request we've gotten. The only problem is it's very difficult to make a high quality short version of the survey. We have to collect a lot of data, test it, validate it, make sure it measures the same thing as the large version. So we're working on this, and that's definitely something we want to implement.
It's a bit like, give me only 3 questions, but also the most detailed feedback possible.
It's hard, but we understand that, especially if you do it multiple times, the questionnaire, doing 70 questions every time might be a bit too much. Another thing we have in mind that we're going to work on is to allow maybe a bit of the white label version that Ram mentioned, though not self-hosted yet. That's a new idea, but to put your company logo in it and or your consultant logo or whatever makes sense for you. And that's something we would like to do. And what Barry is doing right now, and Barry, you can talk a bit more about this if you like, is that we also are working on a workshop to run at organizations with the Scrum Team survey.
Yeah, I can hang around maybe just after this review if you want to talk more about it. But it's indeed something that I'm working on right now.
And our roadmap is in the link that's also on this slide. If you want to look a bit more at this, go ahead. It's all available and publicly open for everyone. It's changing all the time, as a good roadmap should and a strategy should. But in general, we're having fun and we're getting more customers and people are happy with what we're doing. So I'm good for now.
And if you're like, wow, this is super awesome, I want to sign up for the Scrum Team survey, then you can find a link over here. Most of the people, maybe all that joined this session are patrons. And as a patron, if you are and I'm going to stop sharing and see each other again. If you are a contributor, then you can already use the Scrum Team survey for up to 1 team. If you are a liberator, then you can use it for up to 3 teams. Just so you know.
And otherwise, you can subscribe with the link that Barry just showed and subscribe with as many teams as you want. And there's a discount the more teams you have. So it gets less expensive for each additional team you add.
Yep. And I think
that's
it. Also a good moment to say, well, just before I stop recording, I will say that I appreciate a lot that you spent 1 hour with Christian and me to give feedback on the
Thank you so much.
Survey. Chris and I will hang around for another 5 or 10 minutes afterwards. So if you still have some questions, just feel free to ask them. But if you need to leave, then this is also a perfect moment to leave and to maybe enjoy your weekend or do some other stuff. So thanks again, and see you hopefully at the next.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it a lot. It's very helpful.
Yeah. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.